Hi, my name is Deborah and this is the Edit by DH. Welcome to another video. Today's video is quite unique. I decided to do a comparison video. So if you've seen the title, you've already figured out it is Lisa Eldridge versus Violette FR. And I have been promising a comparison for quite a while. In fact, this is an idea I got from you guys, really. So many of you reached out to me to ask for a comparison of these two brands, and I've obviously been promising to get back to you in terms of how the Lisa Eldridge Velveteens have performed. But since I had so many requests for the Violette FR one and how they sort of compare, because they are quite similar, the liquid lip products, so it just made sense to do a comparison video. And initially I was planning on doing it on Instagram, but then I thought, no, what about my YouTube family? And then I thought I would do it on Shorts, on YouTube Shorts. But then I think I found out you can only do a maximum of like 1 minute. And I was like, there is no way I can fit in all this information in 1 minute unless I do a wrap, which I'm not going to do. So I just decided this would be the best format. So I hope you enjoy it. It's not going to be long. Hopefully it'll just be short and sweet. And more importantly, hopefully you will find it useful for those of you who have asked me. So before I start on the actual comparison of the liquid lip products, I thought it would make more sense to start with a brief overview of both brands, especially because I know I have a very big Lisa Eldridge community. I have done videos on Violette FR before. You know, I am familiar with both brands, but it made sense to give you more information on Violette FR for those of you who are unfamiliar, and Lisa Eldridge for those of you who are unfamiliar. Just to begin, Lisa Eldridge, she is a makeup artist. They both are. And Lisa Eldridge has called her makeup brand Lisa Eldridge after her own name, which makes sense as a brand owner. With Violette, her name is Violette 𝕬𝕚𝕚𝕚, I believe, but she's called her brand Violette FR, and I believe the FR stands for France because she is French, but I believe she's now New York based. So Violette is Violette 𝕬𝕚𝕚𝕚. She's French nationality, but now she's living in New York in the States. And Lisa Eldridge is British and she lives in Britain. So Lisa Eldridge started her makeup line in 2018, but I remember going to a talk where she was being interviewed by Sally Hughes, and this was around 2015. It was a stylist event because I've been a fan of Lisa Eldridge for a long time, and I remember she was already talking about doing a makeup line back then. So 2015, she then did her makeup line in 2018, so that's about 3 years. Violette FR, so she started her makeup brand in 2021, so it's newer than Lisa Eldridge's. It's only been around for 2 years, but there already are some similarities, not only in terms of some of the products, but also their kind of background and history. So that's what I kind of wanted to give you a bit more information on, because personally I find it fascinating and I feel like you would as well. So both ladies, like I said, are makeup artists, and they've been working in the makeup industry for many, many years. I believe both of them have like celebrity clientele, and they're both makeup brand ambassadors as well. I believe like both of them have represented and, you know, been creative directors for many different makeup brands, but I'm only going to point out the current one because that makes sense. So Violette is currently the creative director for Guerlain, and she has been since 2022, so it's quite a new appointment. It means she was appointed last year as the creative director, but previously, and I think she was more well known as like the creative director for Estée Lauder, and Lisa Eldridge has been the creative director for Lancôme for many years, since 2015. So that's the brand that she's famously tied to. But both ladies have obviously gone on to create their own makeup line, which makes absolute sense. I think when you are a makeup artist and you've been working in the makeup industry for so long, it only makes sense that you then create your own makeup line, because you know, you've got the expertise, you've got the experience, plus probably whilst working as a makeup artist, there's been many a times that they felt like, oh, I wish I had this, or I wish this product is great, but I wish I had it in this color, or if only this product were a little bit more hydrating, you know. So that's why it absolutely makes sense that the next step for most established makeup artists is to create their own makeup line. That's why I am waiting for 𝕊𝕬𝕒𝕒𝕒𝕒, I hope I've said his name right, sorry if I haven't, to create his own makeup line. I will be all over it. In terms of the businesses, so Violette's business, Violette FR, I believe she's only selling her products online on her own website. As far as I'm aware, there are no Violette FR physical stores, but please correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe there are in Paris or New York, but as far as I'm aware, in the UK there are none, so you can only purchase it online. Lisa Eldridge was only previously available online on her own website, but as of earlier this year, she launched in Selfridges. I believe it was literally the end of May or beginning of June. She launched her line in Selfridges, therefore it is now available more globally. But I think someone told me, a subscriber of mine told me that Selfridges no longer ship to the EU or something, or it's expensive, I'm not sure. Comment down below if you know the information. Prior to Selfridges, she was only doing these pop-up boutiques in Covent Garden, but now she's got a physical presence in Selfridges, like I said. And I think it's so helpful for brands to have a physical presence. The thing is, I know it's not cheap. Retail took a massive hit during the pandemic. I know it's not cheap to have a physical presence, to pay rent, to pay employees to be there day in, day out. However, with makeup, I feel like it's still one of the rare services and businesses where you need to see physically what it looks like. You can purchase something online and end up doing a lot of exchanges or refunds, or potentially they don't refund and exchange, and then you're just left with a product you spent a lot of your money on, and then it just puts you off from buying next time, as opposed to going physically in store, swatching these products, seeing whether it suits you or not. Because honestly, as we all know, colors look so different online than they do on, in real life, and especially in natural light. The only thing I'll say about department stores, and especially where Lisa Eldridge's makeup counter is based, to be honest, all the beauty space in Selfridges is very dark. It's all under artificial lighting. So if you do go, don't be afraid to walk away from the counter and just say, look, I'm just going to go to the natural light, I'll be back, let me just have a look. Because trust me, natural light and artificial light can look extremely different. In the same way that many makeup brands take their photographs in studio lighting, it's so different to how it looks in natural light. So please just be mindful of that when you do look online at colors or look at, swatches in store in a department store. Also, just lastly, before I go into the comparison of the products, I also thought it'd be helpful for you guys to know what each brand sells. So with Violette, she tends to focus on lip products, which makes absolute sense. She focuses on like liquid lips, like balms, creamy blushes, so multi-purpose products, liquid eyeshadows. She's also got these forever eye masks, so they are reusable eye masks that you just place underneath, I believe, with the skincare of your choice. She has incense sticks and burners, which is very random but interesting. And she also sells skincare products like serums, the all over cream spray, like a face mist, bath milk, face cream, perfume, hair care, so it's like a dry shampoo brush. And she also sells a hoodie and t-shirts. You get a variation in that. With Lisa Eldridge, so she's got a lot more makeup products. Now you have to bear in mind that she did have a few years of a head start in comparison to Violette. So she's got lots of lip products from everything that you can imagine. So for those of you who are huge Lisa Eldridge fans, you know that she's got like lipsticks of different finishes, whether it's satin, whether it's matte. She's got these balmy textures, she's got lip glosses, plus now she's brought out her liquid lips, which I'm going to go into in a minute, which is the Velveteens. She's got complexion products, so foundation, she's got the highlighter. She's also going to be bringing out a concealer very soon, and I cannot wait because I feel like I've been waiting for that concealer forever. Then she's got skincare, which is also a newer launch. So a face cleanser, which also doubles up as a mask, a face mist, and the exfoliating cloths that go with the face cleanser. She's also got eye products like the eyeshadow palettes, which are supposed to be customizable. And then she's got liquid eye shadows as well, like Violette. Then she's got accessories, so like brushes. She's got her own brush line, which are all synthetic. Then she's also got sweatshirts or jumpers, whatever you guys want to call it. She also has jewelry, which is very different. And her jewelry is not cheap, trust me. They are precious stones or gems, and there's lots of different colors and finishes. But yeah, she has lots of jewelry that she sells as well. There's a real mixture and variation in there. Anyway, so that's really a summary on the two brands, so I hope you found that useful. The real reason that most of you are here is just for the comparison, and it is specifically the comparison between Lisa Eldridge's Velveteen lip formula and Violette FR's Petal Bouche. These are the two liquid lipsticks from both lines. This is how the Lisa Eldridge one looks. So in case you're not familiar with it, it's sort of got like a clear, what looks like glass or plastic container, and you can sort of see the color, you can see the color through it. Her font and logo is in gold. She's got a gold lid, and then her famous LE with the lips logo on the end. Violette FR's lid also has her logo on the top of the lid in gold, and then the lid is white, and then the packaging is, I'm not sure what material this is, potentially plastic or some other material. Again, you can see the color very clearly through it, because this one's clear, whereas Lisa Eldridge's one is slightly like frosted. I would say both look quite expensive. Obviously, in my opinion, I think the Lisa Eldridge one looks slightly more elevated, because I don't know if personally I'm just not a fan of like white plasticky looking anything in makeup, but other than that, like the logo and everything else looks pretty decent. The Violette FR product is £29, and it is for 3.5 grams of product. So bear that in mind, £29, 3.5 grams of product. And Lisa Eldridge's one is £21 for 3 mils. So 3.5 grams and 3 mils, £29 and £21. So the Violette FR one does, I believe, have slightly more product, but is also more expensive. In terms of ingredients, I'm not going to sit here reading out the ingredients because we'll be here all day, but I will be sure to add a screenshot to the video now. And please feel free to pause my video whilst you look through it. It's only significant if you guys have sensitivities to any particular like ingredients. Also, just a note, these two, for example, Velveteens are literally the same product, but because they're different colors, they will have slightly different ingredients in them, so please bear that in mind. But again, it's only relevant if you have like sensitivities to certain ingredients. Otherwise, you don't need to worry. Both brands are vegan and cruelty free and fragrance free, and Violette FR specifically states that her brand is environmentally conscious. So I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, it doesn't mean that it's completely environmentally clean or friendly. It means that they're striving always to be environmentally friendly, hence why they're conscious of it, if that makes sense. But again, correct me if I'm wrong down below. So the big question, how do they wear? How do they last? Now, I've currently got on the Violette FR's Petal Bouche one on, and I decided it was just easiest to compare the reds. And again, that's another very common question that I got was, how do the reds compare? In terms of the actual colour, they are very different. Now, when you do a hand swatch, they look quite similar, but when you wear it on the lips, it's very different. I'm obviously also wanting to point out something that on my lips, it might be different to how it looks on your lips. Even if we're similar skin tones, we might have different lip tones. So just to make it clear and less confusing, the red in the Violette FR, even though the line, or yeah, the collection of liquid lips is called Petal Bouche Matte, the red colour is called Amour Fou. Amour Fou. French speakers, please feel free to correct me. Amour Fou. I know amour means love, but fou, I'm not sure. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. F-O-U. Anyway, amour fou. And then with the Lisa Eldridge, her liquid lipsticks line is called Velveteens, but the actual colour is Ribbon. I have got the amour fou on right now. I'll put a comparison picture of me wearing the 𝕬𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚 ribbon on the screen as well. In relation to how it looks on me, the Violette FR 𝕊𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕖 looks a lot deeper on my skin than the ribbon. The ribbon looks more like a classic red. But bear in mind, without making this super confusing, that 𝕬𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚, she has a lipstick, velvet lipstick matte ribbon, and a Velveteen liquid lip ribbon. They're not the same color. So in my opinion, the lipstick one is slightly deeper, whereas the liquid lip is a little bit more lighter red. They're both bluey undertones. So when I wear the liquid lip, which is what I'm comparing today, the liquid 𝕬𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚 Velveteen is a lot more lighter than this one. This is more of a deeper red on me. Therefore, it makes me look a lot paler when I wear it, and it makes my teeth look whiter-ish. Let me just swatch it for you, and whilst I'm doing this, I'll also show you the difference in the wands. So that's the 𝕬𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚 wand. To me, it's just like a very generic wand, great for applying, and then the slanted tip is great for defining and acting like a lip liner, I guess. But that's the 𝕬𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚 one. Just swatch it on my hand. Now the Violette FR one, it's very interesting and unique. I have to actually remove a lot of product from this. Actually, let me just show you. So I haven't used it for a while, and it gets very gloopy. So when you haven't used it for a while, don't use it straight from the wand, like straight away. Like, remove some of the product first, otherwise you're going to get a hell of a lot of product. In fact, if you don't like this wand, you can just use a lip brush and just go straight in with the lip brush. Use your hand as a palette or use an actual palette and then distribute the color. It'll be easier to manage, trust me on that one. So let me just show you the wand more close up. It's very chunky. It just, I don't know why, but it reminds me of a duck's beak. But yeah, it's just very chunky. To be fair though, when I look at this, it looks like it'll be very difficult to line the lips and define it. I would hope that you guys agree that my lips look quite neat and defined. I haven't used any lip liner. I haven't used any concealer with a brush to tidy it up. I literally only use this. If you go slowly and carefully and you don't apply too much product at once, you can create a defined lip with this wand, is what I'm trying to say. But please be careful. Obviously, I have makeup artist experience, and therefore maybe it's slightly easier for me, but either way, my point is you can use this chunky beak to do your red lips if you desire. So let me swatch it for you. I'm trying to do thin layers as much as possible in terms of the swatches, so you can see. So can you see it's a deeper color? I'm going to go in a little bit more actually with the 𝕬𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚 because I feel like that's too thin a layer. So that's 𝕬𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚's Velveteen ribbon and Violette FR Petal Bouche in color 𝕊𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚. So you can see the 𝕊𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚 is darker, right? It's not just my imagination. But 𝕬𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚's, I do prefer her Velveteen ribbon rather than her lipstick ribbon. Her lipstick ribbon is a little bit deeper, and I prefer this kind of more lighter classic red. In terms of how they wear, honestly, both are super lightweight. Super lightweight. So sometimes what happens with liquid lips is they can feel, you could feel like you're wearing a red lip, if that makes sense. Not only in terms of it feels quite heavy and it sets, and then it feels very like crunchy, I don't know how else to describe it, but also you're very aware of it because you're like, I've got liquid lipstick on my lips and I'm scared it's going to move and budge, and then when liquid lips move and budge and stain, oh my god, it's a nightmare to get off, because obviously it has ingredients in there for longevity purposes, which is great when it stays on your lips where it's supposed to remain, but when it starts to shift and move and it's got those longevity ingredients in it, it's a nightmare. And then when you're rubbing it off, your base comes off, and trust me, it's a nightmare. Even though you guys have asked me for a while for this comparison, trust me, I try to wear it for a while. Like after my 𝕬𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚 video, I wanted to initially do an update on how that lipstick wore, but I think because of all the different colors that I wore in one go, plus using that cleanser in between to remove it, it just did something to the chemistry of my lips, and honestly the color just didn't stay on as well. So I thought that wasn't fair to do an update straight away. Then I tried Fawn, which is like the most nude color in the Velveteen collection. And again, I wore it all day, and obviously it lasted really well. It wore beautifully. Had a very greasy pizza that night, which means obviously with the oil, it's not going to last as well. But even so, it lasted as well as it could do considering. And again, then I thought, okay, let me do an update now. But then I was like, no, because nuder colors are easier to wear and are less maintenance than like bolder colors. Then after that, I wore Velveteen ribbon all day, and again it lasted pretty well. I then had some, like, I can't remember what I had. I think I had wraps for dinner that night, and again it lasted pretty well. Then I was like, okay, I have to compare it to Violette FR, and again I've been wearing this all day. I had an omelette for lunch and some salad, and then, you know, I've been drinking all day, and I've been fine. So you can see it's pretty much lasted even though I haven't topped up. What I'm going to say is, and I'm going to state the obvious, when you ask how something lasts makeup wise, especially on the lips, with food, nothing is going to act completely immovable unless it's a lip tattoo, right? That's obvious. And the greasier or oily something is that you eat, the more it's going to impact your mouth area. Again, that's really obvious, because what do you use when you remove your long wear or waterproof makeup? Oil cleanser, right? So in the same way, when you have oily food, there is no way your lipstick or, you know, liquid lip is going to remain exactly as it was when you first applied it. I think drinks are slightly different depending on how you drink your drinks. Normally I use a straw, and that really helps to maintain my lips. I don't do that for artificial reasons, by the way. It's just because my dentist has just made me really paranoid of everything, and I've just gotten into the habit of drinking with a straw. With food as well, I'm particularly, I try to be very neat with the way I eat. Again, it's not a superficial thing. I have this really weird OCD, slightly going off on a tangent, but slightly weird OCD where I don't like food being all over my mouth. To give you an idea, croissant is like really flaky and it's great taste-wise, but the flakes and crumbs and everything that go all over the place, that's like my worst nightmare in terms of an OCD perspective. So for me, I do really try to like do bite-sized pieces and be really careful about how I eat my food in general. So maybe that helps with the longevity as well. The conclusion is, if you're a messy eater who loves oily food, who's not careful about how you eat and drink and stuff like that, your lips are gonna like budge way more than someone like me. So these are all things to keep in mind, but things that are also super obvious. Other than that, trust me, they last pretty much the whole day. As many of you may know or may not know, I used to work for NARS, and those liquid lips are a nightmare. So that's a prime liquid lip that you can compare these to. This is like a good version, and the NARS one is a bad version. Honestly, it pains me to say it because I worked for the brand for a while, and I do love the colors in that collection. Well, if you have perfect lips, you don't get dry skin, you don't have fine line around your mouth, then yeah, the PLMP, the NARS one is great. Otherwise, they tend to bleed into the lips. So where I have fine lines, I would always get bleeding out into the lips. And I think it's also because the NARS one is a lot more liquidy and runny, whereas the Lisa and Violette one is more thicker as a texture, so it's not as runny. So maybe because it's more runny and watery, the NARS one, that's why it just bled into the lip line, so that's why they were a nightmare. Secondly, once they set, and they literally, like, you can feel it setting on your lips, and you can feel it on your lips throughout the day. And when you go like this, like, my lips still feel super soft with the Violette one, and it does with the Lisa one. But when I did this with the NARS one, it was like almost hard and crunchy. That's where the word crunchy came into mind, because I was thinking of the NARS one. What I will say in terms of a slight comparison is the Violette FR one, I feel like sets a little bit more. So maybe that means it's good and bad for both. Maybe it means the Lisa one is slightly more hydrating than this one. I feel like the Lisa one settles down nicely, but I feel like this one is more set on the lips, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So yeah, I don't know if there's a big mystery, but yeah, they both wore really well. Comparison wise, they're very similar. The price points are slightly different. The amount of product is slightly different, like I pointed out earlier. The brands are quite similar. They're both vegan and cruelty free. So really, it just comes down to preference. Also, with the 𝕬𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚 collection, just to point out, her Velveteen, she's got 8 shades. Violette's only got 2. What I will say though is, after swatching the 8, I was only keen on 4 of the Velveteens, on Ribbon, Dragon, Rain and Fawn. But I had so many of you comment and say that FR looked really good on me, which I was so surprised about. So it's made me think twice, and I will definitely wear FR again. And you guys have given me confidence in wearing that, so thank you very much. But with the Violette FR Petal Bouche collection, she only has 2 shades, which is the 𝕬𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚 one that I told you about earlier. And she's got a pinky, sort of a pinky version, a deep pink. I don't know how to describe it, but it's called, oh gosh, French. It's called 𝕗𝕠𝕣𝕘𝕚𝕚𝕚. French speakers, please let me know. 𝕗𝕠𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚. And again, there is such a beautiful pink. It's almost like when you want to wear a red, but you're not a red fan, and you prefer pink. This is a pink red. Does that make sense? And they're an award winner with 𝕬𝕚𝕚𝕚 Best of Beauty 2022. So yeah, I mean, even though she's only got 2 colors in this collection, I personally think she's got 2 beautiful colors. I feel like it will suit so many people. I feel like they are very classic. I feel like they're very Parisian colors, and I really hope Violette comes out with another color. And I'd rather a collection comes out with less colors and builds on it, because they're consciously thinking about what colors work and will suit a majority of skin tones, rather than just bring out random colors and then you don't like most of them, if that makes sense. And that's not a dig on Lisa Eldridge, by the way, because I do like most of her shades, and they're not random colors. They're based on the colors that she previously brought out with her Velvet lipsticks. So really, it's completely up to you as to which liquid lip you go for. It's just about preference, and even though they're similar, there's just minor differences, and it's what you prefer. It might be that it's the wand that makes a difference for you. It might be the fact that Violette's saying she's environmentally conscious, that makes a difference for you. It might be something in the ingredients list. It might be that you can't spend £29 and you'd rather just spend £21. It might be that you prefer the deeper red rather than, do you know what I mean? So even though performance wise it's very similar and formula wise it's very similar in terms of how it wears and how it lasts, it might be those little details that make a difference for you. Lastly, I just want to leave you on 2 more things. So tutorials and also I want to end with customer service. So firstly, tutorials. Both makeup artists do beauty tutorials on YouTube, in case you were curious. I obviously don't want to drag you away from my videos, but obviously they're in another league. They do beauty tutorials on YouTube. Their styles are very different though. So I would say Lisa is more teachy, and I say that in a nice way. When you watch Lisa's videos, you feel like you're really in like a makeup class, if that makes sense. Like say you were a makeup artist wanting to do a course, you could absolutely watch her videos and learn a lot from it in terms of technique or whatever. And I say that because Lisa, if you don't know already, was the whole reason that I decided to become a makeup artist in the first place. I literally soaked up her videos. I had this massive A4 notepad and I would literally write down everything that she was doing and techniques that she would share. I would scribble it down. Makeup products that she would recommend, I would write it down and then like cry because I'd have to spend so much money. She's the whole reason I became a makeup artist. And then after that I did a makeup course, was watching her videos alongside my makeup course, and then I formally applied for makeup and then ended up learning whilst working in the makeup industry. Obviously I worked for Bobbi Brown and NARS, in case you didn't know. I learned so much from Lisa, and Lisa is the one that really started my journey. So when you watch her videos, they're quite a bit longer and they're very informative, and she's very calm and really like all you see is Lisa. Whereas with Violette, She does do tutorials and she does walk you through things, but I feel like her style is quite different to Lisa's. I feel like she's very much got that Parisian mentality where like anything goes, and makeup doesn't need to be perfect, and you can do this or you can do that and it doesn't matter because it's about who you are, and you know what I mean. So it's kind of like a different vibe. And also I believe like that's quite a New York vibe too. I could be wrong. If there are any New Yorkers watching, please let me know. Though I don't watch their videos that much nowadays or currently. With Violette's videos, I feel like I'm watching a blog. I feel like I'm watching an influencer do a lifestyle blog. It's quite interesting. She's quite interactive and you see more of her living space and environment. Whereas Lisa tends to just film in what I believe is like her studio. So it's very like set in one place. So that's the main differences with their beauty tutorials, even though both of them do beauty tutorials. So it doesn't mean that you watch one or the other. You might be interested in watching both because they're both very interesting and informative, and both ladies are very experienced makeup artists. Lastly, I'm going to end on customer service. Sorry, this video has been longer than I thought it would be, but I hope you have found it informative. You guys can't say that I don't answer your questions. With customer service, this is a controversial one. Violette FR, when I did my first videos on Violette FR, which I will link down below, I spoke a lot about customer service because at the time she was a new brand and I did take that into consideration. But her customer service was terrible. People, they don't get back to you when you emailed. The shipping took absolutely ages with no kind of like updates on where they were or how long it would take. And a lot of people said that the package went missing. I mean, the amount of comments I got on my videos and messaged privately about how pissed off people were, there's no other way to, you know, say it, about the poor customer service. That was the majority of the comments and feedback versus how great the product was. And I think that's really telling. And I don't know if it's massively improved. The shipping thing, definitely, I think it has. My products arrive faster than before, but I haven't had a need to reach out to customer service in recent times, so I can't really comment on if it's improved or not. So if any of you are watching and have had a recent experience where you've reached out to Violette FR's team, I would love to hear from you, good or bad. I'd love to hear from you. And then with Lisa Eldridge has always been known for excellent customer service. The team normally get back to you very quickly. They normally replace products for you if there's damages really quickly, no problem. You know, I remember one of my Lisa Eldridge videos, I mentioned that my lip pencil had broken and I had a team member reach out to me saying that they would replace it for me and they were sorry about it. So I was really impressed. You can feel a but coming on, right? But as I mentioned in my last Velveteen's video, which again, I will link all of them down below. I have a lot more Lisa Eldridge videos than Violette FR, so I will link all of them down below. I feel like as Lisa's brand continues to grow, I do feel like her level of customer service is dropping. And as an update from my last Velveteen video, by the way, guys, I still haven't heard from her team, which is really freaking terrible considering it wasn't a complaint, but it was feedback I had given the brand. And, you know, I am still waiting months, I think it's like over a month now, for a response or a follow-up, should I say, from the team, and I haven't had it. As a brand grows, especially when they go into a retailer like Selfridges, I do think it's harder to maintain control. Personally, I wish that Lisa Eldridge had just done a boutique rather than gone into Selfridges. I understand why she's gone into Selfridges, but I personally wish she had just stuck to being in a boutique, and therefore she would have just maintained her identity and maintained the high quality level of customer service. But you know, she will do what she needs to do, and she's has every right to do what she wants to do as a business. That's my only thoughts on that. I hope that this comparison video has been useful. If there's anything that you guys want to add, whether you're a Violette FR fan /user, a Lisa Eldridge fan /user, if there's anything you want to add that you think the information will be really helpful in terms of this comparison video, I would really appreciate it. And if you could add your comments down below. We're all part of one community, and hopefully the information will be helpful to other people watching this video. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on the comparison. Let me know your thoughts on Violette FR. Let me know your thoughts on Lisa Eldridge. anything that I've mentioned today you want to expand on, let me know down below. I always love to hear from you guys. If you're not following me already, please subscribe to this video, give me a thumbs up if you liked it and if you found this video helpful. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back with a new video very soon. Enjoy the sunshine if you're in London, and have a good week to the rest of you guys. Take care.